time.
Is it?
Oh, episode.
Nice. Clear all this stuff out. All right, all right, all right. Excellent. Set up. Oh, commercials. Commercials.
Love those.
I never have too many of those. Stick around to support the stream. Hey, if you're watching the ad, you're supporting the stream, right?
That's right.
If you watch the ad, appreciate it. Go
Get
through.
get to see how much of the ad revenue comes in, and it's actually a lot more than people think.
That's nice. That's cool. Okay. All right. I got my errands set up.
Everything's good
I'm not
here too.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, apologize to everybody for the weird layout. I am sick, and I'm at home. Normally, we record this on Rungren's couch,
Right.
but I am sick and with a fever and wanted to. We'll be honest with you, I just didn't want to have to drive.
I understand.
It's not.
I don't blame you.
I think I've almost beat it. It's just I've been sick since Sunday now and ready to be done with it.
Imagine. Doesn't sound very pleasant.
Yeah. So also, if we're a little bit smaller than usual, I apologize for that. It's because of the rush job I had to do on the
Yeah.
layout.
Well.
But to clarify, I didn't have to do a rush. I told Rungren this morning that I didn't feel good and I was not going to be driving today, and then went to sleep and forgot that at some point I still had to do the overlay, and so I did that in the minutes leading up to the podcast.
Yeah. We're a little squished. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
It doesn't hurt.
but
Oh man.
you know, it'll pay off in some other ways. Maybe this weird format for this week.
Yeah. Hey, live and learn, right? We're gonna try this
Right.
out.
Right.
See what happens.
I think I definitely can make us bigger next time if we have to do this. By
This.
just having
Oh yeah, yeah.
like
Yeah.
6
Next time we'll be on
minutes,
this one.
you know?
Yeah, because next time that's the last one of the year, so it'll
Yeah.
be that. Yeah.
Back on the couch again.
Yeah. It'd also be the may look different the next
Yeah.
time that people see it. I don't know. I don't
Excited.
know. We're looking forward to tonight. Bum that you were sick couldn't make it, but I am excited about looking at the bestiary
Yes. Without
and hearing
spoiling
about
anything,
these.
there are some very cool monsters.
Hmm.
And there are some not so cool ones, gonna be honest with you, but you know,
All right.
we'll get there. We are still in the pre-show for anybody that's like, we'll just start talking about the monsters already. But for
Yeah.
those that are in the pre-show, I'll post
Yay!
this. Are we good?
No, Twitch. I think Twitch froze up. We lost this. I don't know. Lost the signal on Twitch. We're not there.
We're back on Twitch on my end now, but
Okay.
I thought for a second my internet died.
It looked like you froze up on the front. Apologies. Anybody seeing us?
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. That was bizarre. Okay.
Twitch just hiccuped.
Yeah. Very strange. Okay, I think we're going straight now. So.
Yeah. So while we're still in the pre-show, they finished another Gundam statue, and
Nice.
this time it's the
Nice.
new Gundam.
New Gundam.
And one of the biggest lines in the series is from one of the games, where Amuro Ray says, "This new Gundam's not just for show, but we now officially have a new Gundam that is just for show."
All right. Chair was too low. Fix that. Do some acrobatics over here while you're talking about Gundam.
That's fair. So the timer on stream is now probably going to be incorrect, but I have the timer up over.
Okay. I'm showing like 6 minutes.
Yeah, that is the correct timer.
Okay. Then if that was the first 6 minutes, we might want to get this thing started, man.
Yeah. Let's roll in here. Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Full Spectrum D&D podcast. My name is Trey.
I am Rungren.
I should say sick Trey, I guess, today, but
Yeah.
you know.
Sick and medicated.
Very medicated. That's where that Gundam joke came from. We're talking Strixhaven tonight and finishing out the bestiary. And by finishing out, I mean starting the bestiary.
Oh, yeah. Finishing out with the bestiary here.
That's
finishes
the
up the
one.
book.
That's the one. So, what do you think the highest CR creature in this bestiary is?
Based on what we went through, I would think 12 or 13.
It's 25.
Okay. So they're really expanding out beyond the book then.
Yeah. You have
Okay.
as low as, I think a fourth is the smallest. Yeah. All the way
Yeah.
up to 25.
Okay.
Which, again, pretty nice.
Well, yeah. 25 is a big monster.
Yes. Very
Not the
excited to
biggest,
get
but
to that
pretty
point.
big. Okay.
So, starting off in Ace, remember that these are all like the school Strixhaven, the 5 colleges, all the stuff coming together. And
Yeah.
also, I apologize ahead of time if I cough during a lot of this. I am sick. Starting off in the A's, we have Archaics. I'm going to put a picture of them on stream here for everybody to see.
Yeah, I'll wait to see how this works.
These are
Oh,
towering,
okay.
multi-armed creatures overflowing with magic. They're very solitary. They carry a vast understanding of magic and the world's history and the ability to warp the fabric of the world around them.
That's a handy trick.
Yeah. So
A couple times I could think I could use that.
there is a twist here. They are the reincarnated souls of the oracles of Strixhaven.
Okay.
When an oracle dies, their souls travel back through time to the explosion of magic that brought the founder dragons into being. In that outrush of creative force, the oracle's soul can be caught in the tide and clad in the very substance of the world, becoming an archaic.
All right. I will say this: it's interesting. This artwork, very much so. I see a lot of magic influence in the artwork, which
Yes.
you got put up there. Very cool picture.
Yes.
So what was it?
This
what
is
was this
CR18
called? CR18. What was it called again?
archaic.
Archaic. Very interesting.
Gargantuan celestial, normally neutral. 20 AC. 14 D20 plus 98, rounded around to 245 hit points.
Okay.
They have resistance to force and are immune to poison and psychic. They're also immune to charming, exhaustion, frightened, petrified, paralyzed, poison, stunned, all that fun stuff. I think that's its head.
Yeah, I think that's his head. The obstruct.
Really interesting here. Let me zoom it in or make it a little bit bigger for people for a second here. And I think that's
Look,
its head.
I think they would rather see that than us. I mean, you can.
I mean, yeah, that's true. We could just like leave that in the corner for now.
I like the artwork alone. Stands out.
It has true sight to 120 feet
Okay.
and has a passive perception of 23.
That's
You're
pretty
not
good.
sneaking up on this thing, probably.
Good
Rogue.
Rogues.
Uh,
Rogues.
They have enigmatic mind. Their minds can't be read. They can communicate telepathically only if the archaic allows it. Magic can't determine whether it's lying or not. It has 3 legendary resistances. It doesn't require air, food, drink, or sleep, of course. It has multi-attack with Force Strike or Gravity Shift, which is its recharge ability. The Force Strike is a melee or ranged spell attack. It gets to choose with a plus 14 to hit and a reach of 15 feet because it's gargantuan.
14, yeah. So 15 feet reach on
Or a range of 120.
Range 120.
2d10 plus 8 force damage, and the target's pulled toward the archaic and pushed away from it 10 feet either direction.
Based on what the archaic wants to do.
Yes. And
Yeah,
it can do that twice a turn.
that's very nice. Force
It
damage,
also...
causing
ahead, sir.
movement. I know. Just thinking, it's just basic there. I mean, it's not super amount of damage
Right.
for CR18, but it is force damage one,
Yes.
and then you've got the movement with it. You get a lot of tactical stuff, throwing people off and running people
For
to walls.
sure.
And things.
The gravity shift recharge that it has is really nice. It reverses gravity for one creature within 100 feet of itself that it can see. DC 22 wisdom saving throw, or they fall 100 feet upwards.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
they encounter a solid object like a ceiling, it strikes the object just as it would during a downward fall. If it
Mhm.
reaches the top of the area without striking anything, it hovers there until the start of the Archaic's next turn, at which time gravity returns to normal and the creature falls.
Yeah. That's
Recharges
fun.
on a 5 or 6, of course.
Yeah.
It has spellcasting as well.
Okay, this one actually has spell. Now, does this have it
Yes.
ranked out as spell as with slots?
It does, but it's not. It's
Okay.
not. I'd say it's not slots. It's at will abilities, cantrips, except they're not
Yeah.
cantrips. They're like actually spells, and then
Yeah.
dailies.
Okay, so it is still they're yeah, that's the way they're going to do it going forward. You don't have to
Yep.
worry about getting spell table for your monster.
Right.
Then lay it out, and you'll know what it casts and doesn't.
So
You can
this
add
guy
take away.
has. Guy has. Words. Detect magic as an at will,
Okay.
divination, and sending as at will. At wheels. I've been listening to that.
You can only do it at chariots, man.
Listen to that Wheel of Time trailer too much.
You can only take on chariots and carts. Where are you going to put this thing, man? I don't know. It doesn't feel. It doesn't feel like an end boss. It feels gargantuan, but it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like an end boss to me.
I'll just get ready when we get into the other stuff it can do, because we're still not done. This is like the big. They came out of the gate swinging monster. Once per
Alright,
day,
alright,
it can
alright.
cast Banishment and Force Cage,
Okay.
which are very good spells.
Pretty
It
good,
can
yeah, both of 'em.
teleport whenever it wants to a space it can see within 120 feet of itself.
It can step 120 feet. Why?
Yeah. It also has a reaction that it can do once a day. I might buff this up if I'm running it against a higher level party, but the reaction is called Spell Mimicry. Immediately after a creature the Archaic can see casts a spell of 5th level or lower, creature must succeed on a DC 22 Charisma saving throw, or the Archaic immediately casts the same spell at the same level, acquiring no material components and choosing the spell's targets.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Very cool. Then, of course, it has the legendary actions. It can use a strike. It can teleport again as a legendary action, just whenever it wants to. I would assume whether it's its turn or not, because legendary actions can be used whenever you want.
Yeah.
And then Unravel Magic for 2 actions. The Archaic targets one creature can see within 120 feet of itself, must make a DC 22 con save or take 10d6 force damage, and each spell of 5th level or lower on the target ends.
That's pretty. It's still the way maybe it's just a picture or whatever. It still doesn't feel like a boss mod. It feels like something you have to reckon with.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't think I'd use it. If you're dumb enough to attack it,
Right.
then. But
I think instead I would use it as an NPC for sure. And then if they attack it, we're going.
right.
You're going to regret it. Kind of like
Yeah.
you'd use a dragon in a lot of situations.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. Especially like if you're running a good campaign, you have the good dragons.
Mhm.
A bronze or a gold might be helpful.
Yeah.
But if you're dumb enough to attack it because it's got a bunch of riches, then yeah.
You're dumb enough to attack this living mountain that was born in the beginnings of magic.
Kill it.
Next up, we have the Art Elemental Mascot. This is the Prismari Mascot.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks pretty cool. It's living energy, as you would expect, because it's from Prismari. CR of 1/4. I should also clarify, now that we're done with like the super cool brand new epic monster, probably going to move a little bit faster through the rest of these.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Art Elemental Mascot, challenge level 1/4. It has a Death Burst ability, where when the elemental dies, it explodes in a burst of colored light, much like other elementals have a Death Burst. Each creature within 5 feet of the elemental must succeed on a DC 11 con save or be blinded for a minute. Melee attacks are okay. Joyful Flare, +3 to hit, reach 5 feet, 2d4 +1 fire damage. Melancholic Bolt, ranged attack, 30 feet, 2d4 +1 cold damage. But the cool thing about this, and what I like about this monster, is captivating artistry. The elemental, it's a daily. The elemental targets one creature it can see within 30 feet of itself. Target must succeed on a DC 12 charisma throw or be charmed for 1 minute. Like, you find it so beautiful that you fight for it now.
Yeah. It's these were I have a feeling that a lot of these there'll be a couple, I have a feeling there'll be a couple of cool ones, but the ones you go through, I think they're going to be a lot like this. They're going to have they're going to be flavor.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to be something kind of basic with a cool flavor.
Next up is a thing you're going to notice quite a bit because, of course, since they talked about how there were dragons that started each of the colleges, we got to have those dragons as a boss monster. You could fight. So we have Balderos. Balderos.
Cool.
Sorry, Belegeros Witherbloom. Who looks really sick. I'm going to put him in between us here, looking super cool. CR 24. AC of 22, hit points 444. I don't want to get too deep into these because they're a lot like the dragons we covered in Fizbins.
Well, yeah, there's going to be there's going to have basic and dragon resistance to blah, you know, a long list, but there's going to be, you know, something that makes it unique.
Yes.
This is totally should be on like some power metal album cover.
Right?
Amazing.
Art's so good. So the thing that sets it apart is it has a breath weapon, of course, but it's decaying breath, which is a 90-foot cone and does 60-12 necrotic damage and 60-12 poison damage on a failed save.
Both?
Both.
That's pretty sick.
It also has
hurt.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say you're getting hurt and not getting some of it back.
Yeah. Miasmal Flow is the other cool thing he's got, where he becomes a swirling cloud of green mist and can move up to half. I keep saying he. Belegeros Witherbloom is a half her flying speed. I know it. I'm such a monster. Without provoking opportunity attacks, then resumes her true form. During this movement, she can move through creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain. She moves through a creature. It must succeed on a DC 23 con save or become poisoned until the end of her next turn. If Belegeros ends this move inside an object, she takes 1d10 force damage and is shunted.
Okay.
So it's a really cool thing of like this dragon can go wherever it wants.
Yeah, it's a kind of a weird ability, man.
Mm-hmm. Also has spellcasting once daily. Each greater restoration, mass cure wounds, plant growth, revivify, and speak with dead. Legendary Actions has a cool new ability, though. Teaming with Life. Belegeros magically summons 1d4 Pest Mascots from later on. We're going to get there. In unoccupied spaces within 60 feet. They obey her commands, take their turns immediately after her. Any creature other than a pest takes 2d8 poison damage if it starts its turn within 5 feet of one of the pests. When one of these pests drops to 0 hit points, Belegeros regains 9 hit points. They disappear after 10 minutes when she dies or when she uses the action again.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
That is. That's. Well, again, that's kind of has a Magic the Gathering feeling to me.
Yes.
I'm not saying that it doesn't fit. It does.
For sure.
It's just the influence is there. It's not a bad thing at all.
Right.
Because it's coming up with some really cool abilities. Going through that.
Next up is the Brackish Trudge. I wish I could tell you this thing had a lot of cool stuff that it could do.
See what happens here.
But honestly, it doesn't. It looks really cool, but it's a CR3. It has fungal fortitude. If damage reduces the Trudge to 0 hit points, it must make a con saving throw with a DC of 5 plus the damage taken, unless the damage is radiant or from a critical hit. On a success, the Trudge drops to 1 hit point instead. You either need to use radiant damage or a crit, basically, or it
Yeah.
needs to fail its save. And then it has a Tusk attack, which is a +7 to hit, 2d10 plus 5 damage, piercing damage, plus 1d6 poison damage. The target's a creature. It must succeed on a DC 15 saving throw or strength saving throw or be knocked prone. It's a good bully.
Yeah. It's good. Good fight, very low level group.
Yeah. Looks
Come through.
very cool.
Yeah, I like the artwork, very much so.
This next one's interesting. It's the Cogwork Archivist. It may not have cool booties, but it looks awesome. That's true. That's true. I agree. Do think it still looks. I had to resize these every time just so everybody's aware why it covers the entire screen at first.
All right, here we go.
So the Cogwork Archivist are basically they are the ones that work in the Biblioplex that we talked about before. Their job is to run the shelves, basically.
That, man, it is standing on the coolest looking Segway I have ever seen.
Yeah. They're CR4.
Yeah.
They're immune to all conditions that affect living creatures because, again, they're constructs.
Right.
They have magic resistance, so they have advantage on saving throws against spells or other magical effects.
Yeah.
They have a grasping limb attack, which is reach 15 feet, 2d8 plus 4 bludgeoning damage, and the target's grappled with a DC 14 escape. They can have no more than 2 targets grappled at a time.
Okay.
And then they
Makes
can
sense.
cast at will dancing lights and prestidigitation. And twice a day they can cast silence, which is perfect for a librarian.
Yeah, it is. I want to go to that library. I will be good. I won't miss with anything. I'll be good.
Very cool creature. Again, like you said earlier, it's very lore for the world, right? It is thematic
Yeah.
more than it
Right.
is like a good challenge, but very interesting. The reach is, I think, what really makes this thing interesting to me. 15 feet for each arm.
Yeah, with a grapple. It's kind of like made
Yep.
to be defensive.
Yeah.
You know?
Not being loud in the library. Next up is the Demagoth.
I think I dated her once. Let's see.
This thing is a bunch of arms and spikes.
Yep.
They're powerful fiends that feed on misery and other negative emotions.
Yeah.
Creatures of
Pretty sure
forbidden
I dated her
magic
once.
and knowledge. CR10,
Okay.
immune to being frightened and immune to psychic damage, which is really interesting. This one is, I think, one of the cooler monsters in here because it's brand new, basically. All its stuff is new and interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It has a
Cool.
Pact of Pain. Using a 10-minute ritual, the Demagoth can forge a magical bond with a willing creature it touches throughout the ritual. The creature becomes bound by the pact until it dies. The Demagoth dies, or the pact is broken by an effect that can remove a curse. They choose one spell from the Necromancy or Enchantment school that is 3rd level or lower. This is complete opposite of what we were talking about earlier, where now it's on you to pick the spell.
Yeah.
The bound creature can cast that spell using this pact, requiring no material components and using intelligence as a spellcasting ability. When it casts the
bound-
spell... Oh, go ahead, yeah?
Okay. I understand why it gives you a little bit of options there
Yes.
on that spell. Okay.
When it casts the spell, the creature takes 7 or 2d6 psychic damage, which can't break the creature's concentration on a spell. Once the bound creature casts the spell in this way, it can't do so again until it finishes a long rest. So it hurts it to cast the spell, but it can do it whenever it wants.
Yeah.
Pretty
That's
cool.
That's pretty cool.
Uh,
The different flavors they have in these colleges and these creatures that are putting even the flavored ones, you know, there's these just seems to be these inherent, and because obviously we've been over some stuff before
right.
in this book of the colleges, a little bit of the background of each one and the magic there, but it doesn't feel like any of these are forced confrontation. These are all like everything so far that I think we've been through obviously can be done without, killing it or having
Right.
to fight it. Continue, sir, please. I like
Of
this
course.
one.
It has multi-attack, 3 agonizing bursts, which is its main attack. Or it can use a Terrify, which is its recharge ability, instead of one of them. The Agonizing Burst is a +9 to hit with a reach of 10 or range of 120 because it gets to choose, melee or ranged. One target, 2d10 force damage. And if the target is a creature, the Demagoth regains 5 HP.
Okay.
If it hits 3 times a turn, it regains 15 HP every turn.
And they're digging on the force damage through this. The force, may the force be with you.
We got a lot of Psychic with Witch Beyond the Wildlight, so it's interesting to see we're getting a lot of force here instead.
That's true.
Wild Beyond the every time.
Yet.
The Terrify recharges on a 4 to 6. It targets one creature it can see within 120 feet of itself. The target must make a DC 17 Wisdom save. On a failed save, it takes 6d10 psychic damage and is frightened of the Demagoth until the end of the Demagoth's next turn, and the Demagoth regains 5 hit points. Successful save, the target takes half, isn't frightened, and the Demagoth doesn't heal.
Okay. That's a cool creature.
Yep.
Nightmare material.
Yeah, I like that it recharges on a 4 too, and not just a 5 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
But what if a Demagoth lives for a long time?
Ancient undead lich.
Then it becomes a Demagoth Titan.
Oh, that's comforting. One of those, but bigger. What new fresh level of hell is this?
CR 16.
1, 2. Okay.
Same.
Man.
It's now immune to being frightened or charmed, and still immune to psychic. It has telepathy up to 120 feet. It has legendary resistances now. It still has the Pact of Suffering, but this time it's still 10 minutes. But the pact can't be broken as if it were a curse, and instead requires wish to be broken.
Ooh, okay.
To wish to be free. It's also a necromancy or enchantment school that is 8th level or lower, and the target takes 66 psychic damage when it casts it. It still has the agonizing burst, but interestingly, it goes down to 2 instead of 3 multi-attack. Probably because of how much more damage it does.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
3d6 plus 7 force damage per hit, and it heals 5 HP every time.
Okay.
It can teleport for free.
That's handy.
So within 120 feet of itself, and then it has some legendary actions. Stalking Nightmare costs 2 actions. Titan uses teleport, after which it can target one creature within 20 feet of itself that it can see. Target must make a DC 20 con save. On a failed save, they take 4d10 necrotic damage, and the Titan regains 10 HP. Successful save, no effect. Or half damage, no heal, you know?
Yeah, gotcha.
Then it has Terrorize. The Titan targets one creature it can see within 120 feet of itself. It must make a DC 20 Wisdom save, or take 38 7d10 psychic damage, and is frightened until the end of the target's next turn, and the Titan regains 15 HP.
Yeah, okay. Terrorize. That doesn't get used very often.
Yeah. Very true. It also has like a weird thing that's not a part of the stat block, but is just a thing they have for if you want to run it as a creature in the world, which is a gift. If a supplicant piques a Demagoth Titan's interest, it will give them a blessing. And as long as they have that blessing, it must expend and roll 2 of its hit dice whenever it finishes a long rest. It takes psychic damage equal to the total rolled, and its hit point maximum is reduced by an amount equal to the psychic damage taken. This reduction lasts until the creature finishes its next long rest. The creature dies if the effect reduces its hit point maximum to 0. The blessing can only be removed by wish.
I like you. No!
Yep. Just that tap on the head.
Ugh.
Oh, this thing is, this thing's
frightening.
Baba Yaga in some ways.
Yeah.
Next
terrifying.
Yeah, that's true. Next up, we have, you know how they always give you like that default stat block if you need it?
Yeah.
Introduce you to the first year student.
Perfect.
Challenge rating is 1/2. They are excited to be here, so they have advantage on initiative rolls.
Listen, look. They should have done that. They just should have put him in a red shirt.
Yep, they should have.
I'm just saying.
They have Magic Flare as their attack. 1d12 plus 1 force damage. Pretty good.
Mhm.
And then they can cast at will Mage Hand and Prestidigitation, and once a day they can cast Detect Magic. They also have a twice daily reaction called Beginner's Luck. When they fail a saving throw, it can re-roll the d20 and must use the new roll.
Okay. Not
Yeah.
bad. Couple cool little abilities there.
Yeah, nice thing to have the stat block for if you just need to make a bunch of students quick.
Right.
Next up, we have another mascot. This is the Fractal Mascot.
Cool. Yeah, I want to see this one.
Operates much the same way as the other mascots for Quandrix, but it does have some interesting abilities.
Yeah.
Challenge rating is still a 4th. It has relative density. It can move through creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain, but it takes 1d10 force damage if it stops there.
Okay.
It can augment its size by 1 category. While it's medium or bigger, it makes strength checks and strength saving throws with advantage, but it can become no larger than huge via this. And it can also diminish its size, and then it makes dexterity, attack rolls, dexterity checks, and dexterity saves with advantage.
Interesting creature.
Hey, Dark. It's a pretty cool thing, you know?
Glad you're here, Dark. Going through some weird creatures.
Strixhaven
No, it's pretty cool. The there's three more. We need 3 more mascots, yeah?
Yep, 3 more mascots.
I count right? Okay.
Next up is the next of the dragons that started a school, and this is the Prismari Dragon.
Okay.
This is Galazeth.
All right. This guy's very exciting.
Very cool looking dragon. You're a mascot. Mascots are cool. Galazeth has a challenge rating of 23.
Okay. So it's
Again, dragon, right?
yeah.
Fire and ice for the breath attack here. 70-10 fire,
Okay.
70-10 cold. It's cool. Spellcasting once a day each. Control water, gust of wind, wall of stone.
He's gonna have counterspell.
He doesn't actually. Instead,
Oh,
he has lightning flash, where he can move up to half his flying speed without provoking opportunity attacks. He passes
Okay.
within 15 feet of a creature during this move. That creature must succeed on a DC 22 saving throw or take 2d10 lightning damage.
Okay.
And Flowing Creation, where he summons art elemental mascots. They work just like the other ones for... I completely forgot the name of that dragon. Belegeros. But if Galazeth can fly up to 20 feet without provoking opportunity attacks whenever one of them dies. It's free flies.
Okay.
The mascot's probably dark. I think the mascots are very cute. Maybe the Brackish Trudge, but I don't know. That would be personal opinion.
Yeah. Any of the mascots, though, I think so. The 2 mascots, either one of those so far have been really cool.
Yeah.
But we got 3 more coming up.
Yep. Next up is a creature I'm really excited for. This is the one I was most excited to show you tonight.
All right. But as you
This
get
is
set.
the Groth. I love him. He's the Groth. He's a plant dog. I love him.
That's fun.
He is CR4.
Okay. That's higher than I'd have called.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Dark. The Groth has a false appearance ability, where if it's motionless at the start of its turn, or at the start of combat, it has advantage on initiative, and if a creature hasn't observed the Groth move or act, they must succeed on a DC 18 investigation check to discern that the Groth isn't just moss.
All right. Looks like a camouflage Wolverine.
Yes!
You play this as a honey badger.
It can also hold its breath for up to an hour, and I just love that that's a little thing they added in there. Just, hey, it can hold its breath up to an hour.
Hey, look, I've got to meet this thing and find out we have a mascot all at the same time. The night is good.
I want to pet a Groth really badly.
God dang, you're one of those people.
I am. So
No,
the
no.
multi-attack, it can make a bite attack and one swamp claw attack. The bite is pretty basic, +7 to hit, 1d8 +5 piercing.
Okay.
But it is just CR4, you know.
Yeah.
Swamp claw is where it really shines, though. I should remind everybody I am sick, so I apologize if I sound weird.
I just like the term swamp claw.
Right?
That's like I kind of that seems like such like like white trash swamp alcohol.
Maybe that's why I love Groth.
We don't have white claw down here. We got swamp claw.
So +7 to hit, reach 5 feet, 1d6 +5 slashing. The target's medium or smaller. It must succeed on a DC 15 saving throw, strength saving throw, or become engulfed by the Groth.
Oh,
While
God.
engulfed, it can't breathe, is restrained, and takes 3d6 poison damage at the start of each of its turns. When the Groth moves, the engulfed, I want to say the engulfed really badly, target moves with it. The Groth can have only one target engulfed at a time. An engulfed target can repeat the saving throw at the end of its turns. On a success, the target escapes and enters the nearest unoccupied space.
Whew. This is a very this may be, I don't know. There's a lot unique about this creature.
Yeah.
I like that. I feel this one actually is the first one that showed up that's like actually out that I can put this anywhere. I feel like.
Yeah. I'm using the Groth in every campaign from now on. You kidding me? Players have a pet Groth. Yeah, it's okay, Dark. I get sick a lot because of it, and I just kind of get used to it at this point. Everybody else in my life has to as well, I suppose. Oh, at least as long as I'm sick, I'm not dead. I don't think we don't get to see enough of the Groth for me to say whether or not you could ride it, because I feel like it's probably just moss underneath the dog part, right?
What size is it?
So it is a large plant.
It counts as a large plant. Yeah, so it can carry anything up to large.
Theoretically, and it has a swim speed.
Yeah.
And it can hold its breath for an hour.
I think just because of I might say up to I would definitely at least let medium ride it.
Yeah.
I think so. It's good. Yeah.
All I'm saying is it's time to write a new song. I really want a Groth for Christmas.
Yeah.
Only a Groth will do.
Well, no.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Do you want as a companion? I would say a Gloomstrider Ranger.
Yeah, you'd have to work for it. When you probably have to get your group to come along, kind of help to tame it and everything. Make it work for it, but I don't see where it's a horrible thing. It's definitely it would not be a gimme.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. But you know what is a gimme through the feats that we talked about last time? The next mascot, the Inkling Mascot.
Okay, this is from Lore. College of Lore?
This is from Silverquill.
Honey Badger mount would be sick.
It would be. It really would be. Just like all the other ones, this is challenge rating 1/4. It has amorphous. It can move through spaces as narrow as an inch. Cool. Same basically of attack, but it has a special ability called Ink Spray. It can do once a day. The Inkling sprays viscous ink at one creature within 15 feet of itself. They must succeed on a DC 12 con save or be blinded until the end of the Inkling's next turn.
Yeah, that's not very, not very nice.
It can also take the hide action anytime it's in dim light or darkness.
Now that is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
You can use that to your advantage quite a bit, but nothing else about it. This may be my least favorite mascot so far.
Fern Gully bad guy. Oh boy. So following that, we have really interestingly, we have like a schools. We're gonna have these for all the other schools too, but it's like the individual student stat sheets and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give you the splash art for Lorehold because I think it's incredible and maybe the best piece of art I've seen in a D&D book.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna put this on screen and you can see how cool that looks.
Sit. Did you set it up?
There we go. Uh, I want to go to Lorehold. Put that on a poster. Forget
Oh
the Uncle Sam needs you. Put that on a poster, and I'm there.
no, no. There. See, this is where you and I differ. I come to the door and I see that going on. I just turn around and shut the door.
Honestly, I'm gonna be straight with you. There are like 3 things in this that are immediate yeses for me. The
Yeah,
owl in the air with the book with a bird flying off the book. I'm there. I'm 100%.
yeah,
The Gatling gun scroll. Yes.
yeah.
But for me, it's I can't remember what they're called, the elephant race, the Luxodon.
Yeah.
It's the Luxodon with like the scroll spear. Yes, sign me up right now. Let
Look,
me work for
look,
that guy.
you need to check yourself because I know you're having Guan Yu
I
flashbacks
am.
on that. No, seriously, I opened the door and I'm like, oh, sorry, I entered the theater department. Let me step out.
So we have a handful of sheets here, and I won't want to spend too long on each individual school. The apprentice is CR2. It has basic bash attack with its scroll, but it also has a ability called Reduce to Memory, which recharges on a 6. It basically is the golden energy you see there erupts from around them within any creature they can see within 90 feet of them. And that creature must make a DC 12 con save or take 6d10 thunder damage. Constructs have disadvantage on the saving throw.
Yeah, and I kind of agree with Dark there. I mean, just at least that's what the librarians at Alexander said.
Oh,
Alexander said the
that one hurt. They can cast some spells. They have guidance and light as at wills. And then once daily, they can use comprehend languages, locate object, and mage armor. And they have
mhm.
a really interesting reaction. Learn from the past, which they can use twice daily. When another creature within 60 feet of the apprentice misses a target with an attack roll, the apprentice magically enables the attacker to re-roll the attack roll. It must use the new roll,
Okay,
which is pretty cool.
that is. That's a nice little ability.
The upgrade is the Pledge Mage, CR4. They still have the bash. They still have reduced to memory, though now it's a DC 13 save and it does 8d10 thunder damage. They still have the same spells as before, but now they have a once daily, but they can cast Mage Armor, Speak with Dead, and Stone Shape.
Okay, good spells.
Very good. They also have a Chronal Break as a daily they can use as a bonus action. They choose a point within 30 feet of themselves, shunting the minds of nearby creatures out of this moment in time. Each creature in a 10-foot radius sphere centered on that point must make a DC 13 Wiz save or be incapacitated until the end of the Pledge Mage's next turn.
Wow. Don't mess.
Then we have. Oh, I'm sorry. Go
Your
ahead.
special ability is to send you on a DMT trip. Wait, what?
Yep.
We're gonna knock you out of time. Just your mind.
Just for a turn. Just for a turn. You'll be okay. Uh, After that, we have the 2 professors, the Professor of Chaos and the Professor of Order. They, of course, have stat sheets. CR7 for each of them. They have a daily called Voice from the Past, where they can cast Contact Other Plane to locate a long dead spirit using intelligence as their score.
Okay.
Then they have the scroll spell attack, of course, mentioned about before, where you literally just smack them with a scroll. They each can cast comprehend languages and guidance, but the chaos one gets dancing lights and the order one gets regular light. And then twice daily they can cast locate object and mage armor, and then chaos gets pass wall and order gets dimension door and stone shape.
Okay.
What
Not
really
bad.
shines for them is that they each have their own individual ability with a recharge.
Yeah.
So Chaos has the weight of history. The Professor magically compresses time around up to 6 creatures of its choice that it can see within 30 feet of itself. Each target must succeed on a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw or be restrained for a minute. But the restrained target speed is halved instead of reduced to 0. At the start of each of its turn, the restrained target takes 1d8 force damage. They can repeat the save every turn, literally crushing them with history.
Of course.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
And then you have the Order has Arcane Stasis, which is twice a day. Instead, I said it was a recharge. It's not a recharge on Order. I'm sorry. When a creature the professor can see within 60 feet of it casts a spell, the professor can magically lock the casting in the moment before completion. Spellcaster must succeed on a DC 15 saving throw using the spellcasting ability, or the spell fails and is wasted. Just, I see you trying to cast. No.
No. Yeah. You cannot.
It's not even a good professor. I don't think his goal is to kill them.
My gosh.
I think his goal is to teach them.
Professor Chaos, yeah. Saturday morning cartoon, Professor Chaos.
That's the end of the first half. We're going to the second half now, which
All right.
again will be a lot of the same stuff we've already covered, so we'll move pretty quickly through it.
The problem is now, anytime I do, if I ever run Professor Chaos, because of certain people in the chat, he's going to sound like Doofenshmirtz.
That's fine. That's fine.
Phineas and Ferb.
That's perfect. Harry the Platypus?
Harry. Oh no, a regular platypus. How did you get in there?
I have
Harry
another
platypus.
cool monster for you that I think you're going to love,
Mm.
which is the Mage
All right,
Hunter.
bring it on.
The Mage Hunter is a really, really cool thing. It's a spider-legged creature specifically made to pursue mages, and they sense magic via their glowing purple spines, and they look like Tyranids mixed with xenomorphs, and I love them.
Got some very H.R. Geiger, aliens, right? The xenomorphs.
Yes.
Look to it. They look really cool.
What makes them really cool to me too is that they have another form. They have.
Sorry, I like it.
That's fair. They have a sentry form where it becomes a diamond-shaped drone, and then it takes that form to go kill them. So it moves around as a diamond, and then the diamond separates into this.
It's a transformer.
Love it. It's CR5.
Cool. Yeah.
Immune to blind, charmed, deaf, and frightened, prone. Cannot be knocked prone, of course. They are super cute. They have magic sense. The hunter knows the location of every spellcaster, active spell, and magic item within 120 feet of itself. They have spider climb when in hunter form. They can climb difficult surfaces, of course. Their claw attack is, they get 2 multi-attack, +7 to hit with 2d10 +4 slashing damage. Then they have a tail attack, which is +7 to hit with reach of 10, 48 +4 piercing damage, and the target's grappled with a DC 15 to escape. Hunter can only have one person grappled at a time. If they're in sentry form, they can use Mage Tracker. They emit a pulse of energy that helps it better locate its quarry. Each creature within 120 feet of the hunter that has the ability to cast spells must succeed on a DC 14 wisdom save or be marked by the hunter for an hour. If they're marked, they can't become hidden from the hunter and gain no benefits from invisible. Additionally, while a marked creature is on the same plane of existence as the hunter always knows the distance and direction to the creature.
Okay.
As a bonus action, they can switch between their 2 forms, and as a reaction, they can consume and destroy. When they take damage from a spell, it takes only
that
half
Metallica
the
song.
damage, right?
Consume and destroy.
Half the damage, and if the creature that casts the spells within 60 feet of it, they must succeed on a DC 14 dex save or take the other half of the damage.
I like this creature, and I immediately went to like, this would be something that a beholder would want as pets around.
Yes.
You know, that would be a very sick fight.
A mage riding a Mage Hunter mount that follows you because it's hunting you. That would.
No, I can't get off.
I can never get off its back, but as long as I'm on
Right.
here, it can't
Right.
reach me. Next up is the Oracle. We mentioned that when the Oracles die, they become the Archaics. They can become the Archaics. This is the Oracle themselves. CR 15. They have the same magic flare from the students. They have a paradoxy ability where momentary warps in reality appear at 3 different points the Oracle can see within 120 feet. Each creature in a 20-foot radius sphere centered on each point must make a DC 18 strength save, and on a failed save, the creature takes 6d10 force damage and is pulled up to 15 feet in a straight line towards the center of the sphere, which is very strong. but recharges on a 4/6, 4 to 6.
So what ability does it have that it gives you, like refills your hearts and gives you part of the trifle?
It does kind of look like one of them, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It has spellcasting, at will detects magic, twice daily dispel against sniper. Yep. Twice daily dispel magic, mage armor, remove curse and sending, and once daily power word stun, scrying, and wall of force, and it can teleport up to 60 feet with anything that she's wearing.
Okay.
Also has legendary actions, though again, it doesn't feel like you're really supposed to fight this thing. It feels more like, again,
Yeah.
has a stat block
Yeah.
in case you do.
Yeah, that's just what I was thinking. Yes.
Vector shift, it can teleport one creature she can see within 60 feet of herself, along with any equipment it's wearing. An unwilling target must succeed on a DC 18 charisma save to avoid it. Then it has Vortex Jaunt. It uses teleport, and immediately after it disappears, each creature within 30 feet of the space she left must succeed on a DC 18 Constitution saving throw or take 3d10 force damage.
Okay. All right. Well, I said I agree with you. And what it says earlier about some other ones, it kind of feels like this is an interaction creature more than it is, But if you take it on, it can definitely defend itself.
Yeah. You do unfortunately have to specify it, Dark, because there are some teleports that don't let you take your equipment with you. So anytime a humanoid that has equipment has a teleport ability, it will specify. Because otherwise, people will go, well, it doesn't say that it takes its stuff with it, does it? Well, it doesn't matter. I'm the DM. Shut up.
Also, I think really teleport, because it's done by weight.
Yeah.
It used to be. I'd have to double check it in 5th edition. Now we haven't really used it in a while. I think it used to be done by weight, so you couldn't just I pick up everybody on my shoulders and teleport.
Yeah,
because it says everything I'm carrying.
Yeah. So then we get our bad guys from the story, from the adventure campaigns. These are the Auric. They are a group of mages that are specifically working for somebody that didn't get chosen as a leader of a college. And I don't want to spoil too much of that again for people that want to run those adventures. But they're purple mages, and that means I like them.
Okay. So we leave it at that. Are they key?
They are a little key. I want to touch on one cool thing about them, but then I kind of want to just leave these because I don't want to spoil too much.
Yeah.
But they have what's called blood mages, and they have a really cool ability called Blood Boil, where they can choose a point within 150 feet of themselves, and a 20-foot radius sphere centered on that point fills with a burst of searing blood-red mist. Each creature of the blood mage's choice within that area must make a DC 17 con save or take 7d10 necrotic damage and is incapacitated.
Sounds like something like a power Strahd would have.
Yeah, it's very good. And they're only CR 9.
That's tough.
Yeah, so it's very good. There's also a recruiter, but again, it's kind of just a spy, and I don't want to get into that because stat block kind of is a spoiler there. So
yeah.
Next up, we have the Pest Mascot. Cute little guy. He can regenerate 5 HP at the start of its turn if it has at least 1 HP. If it takes fire damage, it can't regenerate next turn. That's its thing.
Okay.
No, that's its thing. Cool though.
Like I said, that so far that's what and I'm glad that's what the mascots need to be.
Yeah.
Just they have, something that separates them out a little bit. But yeah, I kind of like that one. That was funny.
It does not unfortunately become a Butterfree. Next up we have the Prismari Scholars. Now, since we've already covered the Lorehold Scholars, I'm not going to touch on their CR because it's exactly the same. But I will go ahead and mention their individual abilities. They have a thing called Surge of Artistry, where they recharge on a 4 to 6. The Apprentice, this is the Apprentice, but each of them has it as you move up, basically. They move up to its speed, surrounding itself with elemental magic as it moves. Till the end of its turn, the Apprentice can move through the space of other creatures. The first time the Apprentice enters a creature's space on a turn, they must succeed on a DC 12 dex save or be knocked prone. That creature, that is.
Artwork. I haven't heard anything you've said.
That's
the
okay.
past
The
little while.
artwork's very cool.
I think it's a cool school.
Yeah, Prismari is very nice, and just a zoom in on that artwork for anybody who didn't see it. It is very, very cool. At will, minor illusion, once per day, gust of wind, mage armor, and silent image. And then they have that movement ability that I think makes them and actually makes them like really fluid in combat in a way that the other ones kind of aren't. The Pledge Mage has a daily called Showstopper, where they shine with elemental magic, targeting one creature within 60 feet of itself, DC 13 Wisdom save, and it's 8d6 fire or cold damage, and it's the Pledge Mage's choice, and it's stunned until the start of the Pledge Mage's next turn.
Okay.
We have the Professor. I added an H in there. Professor.
Hello, officer.
Professor of Expression. The Professor of Expression, who, again, CR7, same way, right? Has the exact same stuff as the others, but has a Lightning Flourish, which recharges on a 6. Unleashes arcs of magical lightning at 2 creatures it can see within 60 feet. They must succeed on a DC 15 dex save or take 10d6 lightning damage. That it has a Flaming Leap, where it's wreathed in flames and jumps up to 30 feet in any direction. When the Professor lands, the flames erupt in a 10-foot radius around the Professor and vanish. And each creature within the area, Professor's choice, must make a DC 15 dex save or take 2d6 fire damage. Basically the same for Perfection, except it's water, and it's a wave, rushing wave. Moves up to 30 feet. Prismari seems to be very focused on movement.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, very cool.
Very cool. Very cool indeed.
Then we have Quandrix.
Yeah.
So this is your math. And also some very cool artwork.
Ready for this one.
Very nice.
All right, look. Disappointed me a little bit, but I guess I can't. That's what I expect from math nerds. It's all right.
I was going to say, there's not a lot of numbers in there, but sure. Let me instead show you this other piece of artwork, which is for the Professor. And maybe it'll make up for it.
Yeah, I think so. There's some fair amount of that gave me this gives me Final Fantasy 8 flashes, and I don't know why.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they like Zelda and a few other things. Which, hey, wear it on your sleeve and do it well, and I'm cool with it.
I agree. There's the Exponential Lash. We're actually almost done with this, by the way. Just give that to you. We have very few left to go. Exponential Lash is a hit with their beams, as I guess it were, numbers. Then they have Vortex Calculus, recharge 4 to 6. The Pledge Mage teleports along with any equipment it's wearing to an unoccupied space within 60 feet. After it teleports, each creature within 20 feet of the space it left must make a DC 13 con save. On a failed save, they take 2d6 force damage and move 10 feet in a random horizontal direction.
Okay. Not bad. Nothing super spectacular, but interesting.
Yep. The Professor of Substance has Dilation. It can magically alter its physical form until it uses the bonus action again, until it's incapacitated or it dies. And you can choose to either expand and make it large or contract and make it small, just like the mascot. It also, if it's hit by an attack roll, it can increase its AC by 3 against that attack, potentially causing it to miss or teleport up to 30 feet after it's a miss, twice daily. Professor of Theorem can divide by 0 twice a day, which makes him canonically the strongest creature in all of fiction. When he sees another creature within 60 feet of himself casting a spell, he can try to nullify the spell's formation. Creature must succeed on a DC 15 saving throw, or the spell fails and is wasted.
That turns you into jelly, or just makes you to where you actually like jelly, so you can have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Question. So next up, we have the Relic Sloth.
The Relic Sloth?
This is a very cool looking creature.
One of these.
I like it. It's a shoe puff from Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, I definitely. I was right. I want one of those.
CR2, and it has
Okay, that makes sense. Got you, Dark.
it has a reaction called Slow but Sturdy, where if it's subjected to an effect that would move it out of its current space or knock it prone, it neither moves or is knocked prone.
It just doesn't.
That's
It
its
just
thing.
doesn't
Yep.
happen.
So there you go.
Yeah.
That's the Relic Sloth.
I'll take 2, please.
Next up, we have the Ruin
you're right.
Grinder, which is a mech.
Oh, Ruin Grinder?
Yep.
Yes. This is an industrial Swedish band. What?
Look at this mech. Its CR is 5. It absorbs fire. So it regains another hit points equal to half the fire damage dealt. It deals double damage to objects and structures. It can burrow through solid rock at half its burrowing speed, which is 30. It has an excavator attack, which is 2d6 plus 6 force damage. And if the target's huge or smaller, it must succeed on a DC 17 strength save or be pushed 10 feet away and knocked prone. But that's kind of all it's got. It looks really cool. But...
It does look really cool. It reminds me of, is it a Forge Golem?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
It's kind of a little bit reskin one of those, it seems like.
Yeah.
I like them. Again, though, I like the artwork.
I do too. Next up is Shadrick Silverquill, the Silverquill Dragon.
Okay.
Just like before, Dragon stat sheet. Looks cool, though. And then it has a thing called Shadow Slip and Flash of Inspiration. Shadow Slip, it becomes an inky cloud of shadow and can move just like the Witherbloom one. Works exactly the same way. And then he looks like a chin. He's got the chin, right? And then the Flash of Inspiration summons the Inkling mascots just like the others. But it's radiant and psychic damage on the breath weapon.
Okay. Radiant Psychic.
Otherwise,
that's a pretty rough combo.
Yeah. Are you going to resist that silver, whatever, the Chad Dragon?
Yeah.
Next up is the Silverquill Scholars. I'm medicated. The Silverquill Scholars. They work exactly the same way, but their reaction is called Rousing Verse. When a creature the apprentice can see within 30 feet of it sails a saving throw, they magically weave together stirring prose, allowing the creature to reroll the saving throw and use a higher result.
No, don't go close to them. They won't be kind to a werewolf.
That's exactly what this art feels like, yeah. The Pledge Mage has an ability called Demotivate, where twice a day it can hurl magical insults at a creature it sees within 30 feet of it, but only twice. Like other insults just aren't magical. DC 13 Wiz Saver become frightened after the insults. While frightened in this way, this is the cool part. The target can't take reactions, its speed is halved, and any hit the Pledge Mage scores against the creature is a critical hit.
Oh. Some redemption there.
The Professor of Radiance, really, like, compared to the other professors, has, like, nothing. He just gets to cast some good spells. At will Dancing Light and Friends.
Well, I mean, he gets to be called the Professor of Radiance.
Yeah.
You know, I can handle that, I guess.
He can, twice a day, he can cast Bless, Command, Cure Wounds, Daylight, and Mage Armor. Once a day, he can cast Hypnotic Pattern and Tongues. The Professor of Shadow is basically the same way, except Magical Darkness can't impede his dark vision.
Okay.
So, you know, there's that. Then I think we get our final mascot. And we're almost done. We have the mascot. I'm sorry, we have, our final mascot. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 more to go. Radiance doesn't belong. Well, that's the dichotomy, right? So this is the Spirit Statue mascot. Doesn't include the guy.
It's the straight edge, Christian goth.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
I don't know why all the other mascots got their own individual art, and this one just has a guy in it. Because, like, he doesn't come with that mascot. You don't get a dude, too.
Right?
But this one has Death Burst. When the spirit statue is reduced to 0 hit points, the statue crumbles and the spirit returns to the afterlife in a burst of ghostly white flame. 1d6 radiant damage to everything within 5 feet if it doesn't succeed on a DC 12 con save. And also, if it touches a creature twice per day within the next 10 minutes, the creature can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to one ability check of its choice after rolling a d20.
Okay. That doesn't hurt.
Pretty cool.
1 to 4 points is 1 to 4 points.
Yep.
Just saying.
He causes it. Yes, he shows up every time you cast the spell to summon the creature for you. Next up is the guide, the Strixhaven Campus Guide. I don't know what this thing is. What is this? What have you made? It's CR1. It has univocal speech. Any creature that knows at least one language can understand what the guide says. It, for some reason, has a full stat block. It can't become lost in Strixhaven, which is cool. The guide takes the help action every turn. Because do you need some help? Do you need directions? It's here to help. And its big ability is called Smile and Wave. Each creature of the guide's choice that is within 30 feet of the guide must succeed on a DC 11 Wisdom saving throw or be magically charmed by the guide for an hour. A charmed target must move on its turn toward the guide, trying to get within 5 feet. The target doesn't move into obviously dangerous ground, since it's fire or pit. Whenever the charmed target takes damage, it can repeat the saving throw. And if you save, you're immune to Smile Away for the next 24 hours. But I would play this thing 100% as just, it's not malevolent. It wants to charm you so that you will listen to it while it tells you all about Strixhaven.
So it can help you, right?
Yeah. It's
So
just
you'll
there to
let it
help.
know. Big giant pendant. Just like a Goliath with this thing. Wearing it like Flava Flav, where it's a clock big in the middle.
Yeah.
Smile and wave.
That's a cute little thing.
I like it.
Next up is the Quandrix Dragon.
Okay.
Tanazir Quandrix.
Let's see this thing.
Its breath is force and psychic.
Okay.
It can fold space.
Yeah.
It uses its teleport, and each other creature within 20 feet of the space that she left must succeed on a DC 24 strength save or be pulled up to 30 feet closer and take 3d10 force damage. And then it can summon the Fractal Mascots. Pretty cool.
Okay.
And Azir Quandrix.
It is. I really like the artwork on this one.
Yeah. I think you're going to love this one, because this is like stereotypical classic dragon. Belegeros Witherbloom, the last of our dragons.
Okay. Yeah.
Who looks really sick, in my opinion. He's very, like, default dragon-y, but he's also got the scrolls. I just think he looks really cool.
Yes, he does.
Underbite's really nice. His breath is force and thunder. He's got, she. I'm sorry, I did it again. I apologize. Terrible person. Chaotic flow, half her flying speed, and if a creature hits or misses her with an opportunity attack during it, they take 3d12 thunder damage. So if they just try, they take thunder damage. And then repeating history. Velomax magically summons the spirit statue mascots, and it works exactly the same way.
That's right, Dark. I don't know. Lorehold, the first college we covered, and it kind of had what you would expect like a wizard school to be.
Yeah.
And the other ones are, so that the founder being kind of what you would expect an ancient wise dragon to be is,
Right. Makes sense.
Good. It makes sense.
Finally, we have the Witherbloom Students. This art is going to be exactly what you think it's going to be.
Let's see what this is. Oh, yeah.
Very cool. They
So
have...
far as cool pictures, might be my second favorite.
Yeah, it's very nice. They have Wither Burst. When the apprentice sees a creature within 30 feet of itself drop to 0 HP, they channel the expended life essence and targets another creature within 30 feet of themselves. The target must succeed on a DC 12 con save or be poisoned for a minute. 1d6 poison damage at the start of each of its turns.
Okay.
Pledge Mage has Vociferous Form, which is a daily. It can transform into an avatar of plants and shadow. While in this form, the Pledge Mage adds its Wisdom mod to its AC It isn't wearing armor or wielding a shield, and has advantage on attack rolls against any creature missing hit points. It lasts for a minute or until they're reduced to 0.
Okay.
Then the Professor of Decay has what's called an Essence Pulse. Creates a life-draining vortex in a 30-foot radius sphere centered on itself. Each creature of the Professor's choice that it can see within the area must make a DC 15 con save or take 5d8 necrotic damage on a failed save. The Professor then regains 10 HP, and an affected creature's hit point maximum is reduced by an amount equal to the necrotic damage taken. Finally, the Professor of Groth has Summon Nature's Avatar, where it summons a Groth. What a great way to end it! The Professor can communicate telepathically with the Groth, and it remains for 10 minutes.
I want to be a professor at Strixhaven.
I would 100% apply for this position just to be able to summon a Groth every short rest for 10 minutes.
Very nice.
And that's Strixhaven's monsters. Obvious which one's my favorite. It's the Groth.
Groth. I do believe they might have been dark. They the Mage Hunter.
Yeah.
And I am not sure because there's so many of them I just kind of enjoy because as you're going through school, I had a couple of students with their mascot following goes by, and you have the other one over here, the smiling and wave trying to get your attention.
Yeah.
You've already been told not to look at it directly and
Right.
walk away. So a lot of it kind of feels like that, and what they can do. Yes and no.
10 minutes of combat's a long time.
That's a long time. I agree.
That's 100 rounds.
It's just, especially when you get up, when you could start using higher level for a lot of summoning spells, you can get an army really quick, which is cool. Which is cool if you're, hey, I can do that as a character. But when you're rolling for 15 different attack hits while everybody waits, it can get kind of bad.
I agree. I just wanted the Groth to be front and center.
You sneaked that up there. I'm gonna put this back. I'm taking my hat off. We're off that. I got a couple little sips of coffee left.
We are done with Strixhaven.
Strixhaven, yes.
Right on. Our next book coming up is. I know I saw it the other day. I guess it would be the Icewind Dale campaign, right? That's getting a new adventure book.
Yeah.
The guide's pretty good too. Yeah, absolutely. Can't summon another creature with that magic point or whatever. Well, the spell slot's gone to you. That'd be one way to do it. Yeah, the guide is very
You'd have to have something to balance it out. As long as you've got something to balance it out, the thing in 5e is its action economy.
Yeah.
And so anything taking a turn, taking an action, that's giving something an action is a huge advantage in 5e.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that is not a bad trade out at all. I think that's fair.
Do you think that is a very good point, though, that it would be hilarious to have the other students laughing at whoever got charmed by the guide?
Mm-hmm.
It's like for the next hour, that person's like, "Oh yes, please tell me," and everybody's like, "Ha ha."
Well, there would be some.
Yeah.
You're still gonna have freshmen and seniors, right?
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, next week we won't have Strixhaven. So next week, I believe the plan is just to chill, just to discuss and talk and have a good time.
Ramble, maybe look back at what the year over the year, what's come out this year.
Yeah.
Maybe have a wish list for future D&D.
Yeah.
See what's going on. And we'll be back on Tuesday at 7 here on Twitch to wrap up the year on the other podcast.
Yeah.
And,
2021 is just
Yeah.
about done.
Yeah.
That's always
Oh,
fun. That's always
I'm wondering if that's an admission of guilt there, if she has something to do with it. I just need to get this out.
I have to
Ah,
talk to someone about what I did to my party. Yeah, no, we'll be back Tuesday for sure. It'll be really fun. Please look forward to that at 7, and we'll be back Thursday at 7 as well. And then after that's the new year. 5 fights in a row. Okay. I'm disqualified. That's always fun.
hey,
All I'm saying
got
is new year, new Groth, you know?
I can see a pattern starting already.
I'm just saying we don't get fan art, but like if somebody drew me a Groth, like me with a Groth, I would be ecstatic. That would be
Yeah. Well, let's see. We will. Ooh. No, we got a ways to go before I change anything. Anyway, we got stuff coming up.
Yeah. Please look forward to all that. And until next time, I have been Trey.
I've been Rungren.
We've been the Full Spectrum D&D podcast. And remember to always enjoy the full spectrum. D&D has to offer. The Groth.